Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode, another live stream, I should say, of The Good Stuff. My name's Dave Sundstrom, and I love to talk about music, movies, and mostly TV from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, the good stuff. And tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about Night Court. We'll also just kind of focus on the 80s and 1984. Just a great conversation all around. But before I do any of that stuff, I want to make sure that I acknowledge everybody that has been visiting in the chat for the last couple of minutes or the last few minutes. And then I'll bring on a couple of guests as well that are going to join me this evening. First and foremost, we've got superfan John Collins in the house. Great to have you here. Kenneth Wilkinson, good evening. Hungry Jerk, a.k.a. Thomas McCluskey, welcome. Tracy, it's good to have you here as usual. Thanks for joining this evening. Let's see, who else is here? Oh, another super fan. Spike Spikerson is here as well. That says you need to know the secret password. I'm not sure if I know the secret password. I'll have to read all about that later. DJ Mexicano or Mexicano de Texas, welcome. And Christopher Kraft isn't going to join us this evening, but he's left a nice message, and that's kind. I really appreciate that, Christopher. Hope all is going well with the move. TJ921 Abel, that's right, welcome. Good to have you here. And a huge, huge thank you to Kevin Connor for the super chat right there. Love it. Thank you very much for the support. Really appreciate it. Let me get back to the comments here. Who else do we have? We have Lance Chafin is here as well, or Chaffin. I hope I'm pronouncing. I'm going to go with Chaffin. That feels like Chaffin to me. And Jimmy C. Marvel Man 1000. Welcome to the live stream this evening. Again, we are going to be focusing. I should probably put the banner up on that. Hang on one second. Let's see. Here we go. We're going to be talking about the classic NBC sitcom Night Court, starring Harry Anderson, John Larroquette, and Marky Post, among others. Richard Mall. Lots of great actors in that show over the course of those 9 seasons. Let's see. I've said hello to Spike Spikerson. David Neesner's here. Let's see. Anyone else? I so much conversation, but I don't see. There's Matt Sweeney. Welcome, Matt. Always great to have you as part of the live stream. Dolph Quick is here. Raja1938 is here. Welcome. Boy, oh boy. Butch Schumpf is here. My friend Justin is here. Joe Anderson, welcome. Mr. Led, great to have you here. Cindy D, always a pleasure. When are we going to get a Good Times edition? We need some more videos on Good Times. Zach Aria, welcome. Rob Bacon, always a treat to have you as part of the live stream. Little Wing, welcome. Lamont Bradford, welcome. Let's see. David Neesner's asking if Steve Sundstrom's video from yesterday inspired tonight's topic. Well, you know what? I'm going to bring Steve Sundstrom on board. Here he is, Steve Sundstrom, joining us. He's going to have to, there he goes, gets that microphone on. Steve, I'm going to answer the question no, that because I'd been planning on doing this Night Court live stream for quite a while. But I guess I got to throw it back at you. Did this live stream inspire you to make the video that you posted yesterday?
No. In fact, we had talked a little, a few days ago about this was my next video. So I was working on this video before you announced the live stream. But I'm not saying that was what inspired you to do it. I'm sure you already had it planned as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I announced my live stream weeks ago, Steve, weeks ago. Terrell's here, and we've got another guest waiting in the wings. Let's bring Pat McCormick on. Pat, how the heck are you, my friend?
Hi, guys. Doing great. Great to see you, Dave and Steve.
Hey, Pat.
Great to have you here, Pat. And just recently, Pat did, speaking of just kind of everything coming together, Pat did a video on Night Court not too long ago. It's probably 1 or 2 videos ago now, right?
So obviously, we just steal each other's ideas.
That's right.
It's either that or great minds think alike. I'll go with that one.
Let's go with that one. I like that one. Welcome, Christopher Ramon Reed. Let's see. Lisa Fields is here. Seattle Judy. Gfoil 69. Let's see. Hopefully I don't miss anybody. Christina Marie Angelique Miller. Yes, it was. And she says that the ones featuring Mac were great. They were. I especially love the ones later on when he got married and that whole kind of blossoming romance. Those were fun storylines. Politically Incorrect says, greetings from Vancouver, Canada. Good to have you here. Oh, Mr. Led has a message directly for you. Mr. McCormick says, enjoying your vids.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Led. I see your comments and I appreciate it very much.
Awesome. So speaking of Pat, so why don't you tell us a little bit about your channel?
Well, the channel is Golden Rage of TV. The series that I do, I call Retro TV Trivia. And it's basically like we've talked before, Dave, it's shortened little hors d'oeuvres compared to your wonderful meal that you serve up. So that's the difference. Basically the same thing. And you've, of course, been my inspiration for forever and supportive as anybody could ever be. And, what you guys think of this guy, you're right. He is wonderful. Can't get any better. And same with Steve. Since you're here, Steve.
Thanks, Matt.
But I do these paying respects to the best era of television, which was its golden age. And I like to rock out a little bit and be a little edgy. So that's why I called it the Golden Rage of TV. So
love it.
That's my story.
Love your videos, Pat. They're always a treat for me. I like the appetizer hors d'oeuvres kind of metaphor that you've got going there. That's exactly what they are. There's no huge commitment that's required to watch one of your videos. You click on it and you know what? 1.5 to 2.5 minutes later, you're edified. It's a sweet treat, usually, those little nuggets of knowledge that you're sharing. But boy, oh boy, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Do you pack a lot of information into those very short videos? So great stuff. Most recent video, remind me what your most recent one, it was today or was it yesterday?
No, actually, I got one coming out in 2 days. But my most recent was on the Big Valley, the cast of Big Valley, and how just amazing they were. Not just the fact that I loved the show, but how they all went on to become legends of television. Those that weren't already. And Barbara Stanwyck was obviously a movie star, but I've always loved that show, and it's very easy to write about that one because there's just so many characters, so many dynamic individuals that make up the show. So that was the last one, and I got another one coming up in a couple days, and that's Robbie the Robot.
Oh my goodness, that'll be awesome!
Yeah,
can't wait to see it. All right, Steve, and your most recent one was a Night Court video. Do you want to talk a little bit more about it?
Yeah, it's highlighting just basically everything that is out there as of right now about the upcoming reboot of Night Court that's been announced by NBC. They're working on a pilot right now, or the pilot's being worked on, and I hope it gets picked up. I know there's some people that don't like reboots, but I think there's been some really good reboots out there. I was thinking of that, like Star Trek, The Next Generation was a fantastic reboot of the original Star Trek TV show. So I think reboots can work, and I'm excited to see. I know John Larroquette's involved with the show, so he was a huge part of the first show, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, can't wait to see it too. I'm always open to seeing, it's hard to recapture the magic, but seeing what happens when you get, Larroquette's good in everything that he does. So let's give it a chance. Yeah. Love it. Well, it was a great video, Steve. I enjoyed watching it, and I haven't watched the Big Valley one yet, but I will. Trust me.
I watched it. It was a great video. Good job, Pat.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Let's do this. Let's quickly. I saw a couple of comments I wanted to make sure we addressed. A couple very important comments. People that have just arrived a little bit late for the stream. We have superfan Emily Miller, who said a little bit late, but hey, better late than never, Emily. Love having you here on the stream with us. Let's see. Viva J is here as well. Yeah, Night Court is. I think a lot of people really enjoy that TV show. Cindy D said, I said on Steve's channel, let's hope Marky and Marcia will make a guest star on the reboot. I totally agree. That's part of, I remember when WKRP did the reboot, their reboot, and this was a long, long time ago. But they didn't have all of the original stars in that reboot, but they did have most of them make guest appearances. I think the exception was Andy Travis. Gary, what is his name? Drawing a blank on his last name. Folks will help me there. Sandy. Gary Sandy. Gary Sandy, yes. David Neesner says that all three of our channels are great, awesome. And Mr. Led says he loves your short videos, Pat. Politically Incorrect says not the original Pat McCormick from Smoking the Bandit. No, not the original. This is the original Pat McCormick from General Hospital. John McJunkins.
I have the same sense of humor. I have the same sense of humor as that Pat McCormick, so you got to be careful. But I'm a McCormick. He's a McCormick. There's a difference.
That's right. But there is a Patricia McCormack who's an actor,
right,
who's actually in a movie that we're going to talk about in a little bit. John McJunkin says all of the channels are awesome and subscribes to all three. Thank you, good sir. Very much appreciated. Oh, yeah, this was the comment. Skip Rock Jr., my good friend Skip Rock Jr. saying that Pat is going to make an Arnold Ziffel video before Dave. That is probably true. At least I can tell you that right now, Skip, despite your earnest pleas and your many comments encouraging it, Arnold is, while he's on my potential topics list, he's not on my videos that I'm currently working on or plan to work on in the next little bit. I'm still trying to wrap my head around what I'm going to do with that particular topic. That's going to be a tough one. So maybe you can give me some suggestions. Pat, any inclination to do a video focusing on Arnold?
Of course.
There you go.
As soon as you tell me who Arnold is.
The pig.
I'm an expert.
The pig from Green Acres.
Oh, right. Yeah, they invited him to the rap party until he found out it was a luau.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. And you know what? My favorite meat. I love. There's a scene in The Simpsons where Homer says something about. They're talking about bacon, pork chops, and I can't remember, ham, all coming from the same animal. And Homer's like, you're telling me that one magical animal produces all three delicious meats? Great scene. But yeah, Arnold should watch his back. Bus Stop says yellow. I don't know what's going on there, but we'll say hello to Bus Stop. Good to have you here. Danny Staten is here with us. You know what? With that comment on the screen, there's actually 4 great YouTubers right here on the screen right now. Danny Staten, he's got a new video. Well, he's always on a quest to find Bigfoot, but he's got a new video right now out there reviewing a Partridge Family comic from the late 60s, early 70s that I haven't watched yet, but it's in my queue to watch. So very excited about that one. Linda P. Golan, welcome. Good to have you here. Says that Linda Evans always spoke very highly of Barbara Stanwyck. I don't doubt that. I do not doubt that. Got a couple of super chats I've got to acknowledge before we keep moving. John Collins, thank you so darn much. So appreciated. Let me get that thank you up there. Thank you, good sir, for the support. He says, perhaps we, the Good Stuff community, are ready for a new round of t-shirt. I'm thinking about that, John. I'm thinking about some new designs. So give me a little bit of time in between videos. I've been mulling that. What might be fun to do on a t-shirt. And you can, of course, always throw your ideas at me as well, my friend. Let's see. Who else do we have here? I thought I saw another super chat. Let me quickly. Oh, I got to say hi to McGanahan Sky Jellyfetty, one of the greatest YouTube names of all time. Let's see. Oh, there it is. It's from our friend Danny. Danny Staten showing the support. Thank you, good sir. Let me get that quickly up. That's right in the middle of my face. I didn't think this out very well, but thank you, Danny, for the support. Truly, truly appreciated. Okay, here we go. Tracy, how do you become a super fan? Super simple. There's a little join button that's right below the videos that I make. It's right there next to the subscribe button. It's a nominal fee each month, but it gives you access, early access to my videos. That doesn't mean anybody's seeing them any later than they would. It just means that, for example, my last video, the secret origin of the bat nipple, folks saw a version of that wasn't quite complete. I let them see that as I was working on it, and then got a little feedback as well. So that's there's that. There's also just the pure goodness of supporting the channel. So thank you very much, Tracy. I'm not going to put the arrow in the middle of my face again. And John, okay, this is it. This is the last super chat for the night. I'm putting a kibosh on your super chatting. Thank you very much. Truly appreciate the support. I really do. He says, please interview Marky Post about the origins of her name. I would love to interview Marky Post. Let's be clear. I think there's not a person on this screen right here that wouldn't love to get Marky Post aside. And the fact that you want me to ask her about Electro Woman and Dyna Girl, I don't know. That might be a touchy subject with her, but that was an interesting version of the show. Did any of you guys see that Fox pilot?
No, I don't think
so. So Fox did a reboot of, speaking of reboots, Steve, of Electro Woman and Dyna Girl, where Electro Woman was this bitter, over-the-hill superheroine who was an alcoholic and just really, and Dyna Girl was this like plucky, kind of naive and innocent, girl who was idolizing Electro Woman, and that's kind of the origin story of that version. One episode, just the pilot. It didn't make it to be anything beyond one airing on Fox TV late at night, I'm sure, one night. But great suggestions.
No wonder I never heard of that one.
It's on YouTube. The things you can find on YouTube, Pat.
It's true.
Braidwood Inn, thank you for the support. Truly appreciate it. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the support. You guys are too kind, and I very much appreciate everybody's support. I would say if you are a super fan, I think that is support enough. The super chats are great, but really that's where I would love to see the support if anybody wants to join and become a super fan member. And there's perks. I get to throw some things at you every now and again. But thank you, Justin. Truly appreciate it. I got a chance to visit with Justin last weekend. We're doing a video on the serious side of Three's Company that I'm working on editing right now. And he's a great guy. Love visiting with him and appreciate his support as well. So thanks to all of you for that. So, gentlemen, we should really start talking. We're 20 minutes in, and we have not talked at all about the topic of the evening. And that is just wrong, sick and wrong. So let's get this on screen here. Let me see if I can do this. Did I do this wrong? No, there we go. All right. So I threw a survey out to the community at large, and I've got a confession to make. Let's see if you guys can see what's wrong with this. I did a survey and I asked, who was your favorite Night Court character? And I put Bull, Harry, Christine, Roz, and Mac on the survey. What did I do wrong?
Did you leave off Dan?
I left off Dan off the survey. And that's because YouTube will only allow for 5 choices on their surveys. Mm-hmm. But if I had realized what I'd done, I probably would have tried to make an educated guess and left off someone else, not someone who I really believe had the potential to be, the top vote getter. So anyway, I had to shut that survey down, and I removed the person who was the bottom vote getter from that survey. So, and that person, sadly, someone has to be the least favorite, was Mac Robinson. And, the thing about that one is the thing that makes me a little sad is, of course, Charlie Robinson, the actor who played Mac, passed away not too long ago at the age of 75. Did a video on Charlie, and really, there are everybody on the show. I'll throw this out to you guys to share your opinions, but I thought everybody on the show was wonderful, including Charlie.
Absolutely. I felt like he was the catalyst, the straight man that, any kind of wacky sitcom needs. So he played a vital role, and he did it so well. I mean, he was the perfect straight man, and he gave all those great comedic actors an opportunity to play off, him, and he was able to kind of give you that feel of, this is real. This is a real court. But, again, all that zaniness ensued, which he never really seemed to be part of. That was my take on it.
Totally agree. That's every great show needs to have some sort of anchor, something that keeps all the nuts grounded in reality a little bit. I mean, it's television, so reality's subjective, but grounded. Steve, any thoughts about Charlie or the cast as a whole?
Yeah, well, the cast was awesome, and over the first couple seasons there was some rotating characters came in and out, but once the cast was set, probably by about, I think, season 3, it stayed there for the rest of the run. But even from the get-go, they were all great.
Yeah. So as a music fan, Pat, do you remember the amazing vocalist, Meatloaf's vocalist, that was part of Night Court during the early run?
No, as a music fan, what I remember most from Night Court was the involvement of Mel Torme.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, he is the musician's musician. And the true irony, as Reinhold Weege, who created the show, said, it was just pure coincidence that I call them the three Harrys. It's Harry Stone, Harry Anderson, and Harry the Hat, right?
That's right.
The other strange irony was that Harry Anderson was also a fan of Mel Torme. So, yeah, the way that story unfolded and how he found out that he was being referenced on the show, and that when he had an opportunity to get on the show, he dove on it because he loved it, and how it actually had the effect of revitalizing his concert career, which I thought was just amazing. That was such an amazing story.
I had no idea who Mel Torme was prior to Night Court. No idea.
Yeah, neither did I. But he, when he would make the guest appearances on the show, and he was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, and you go back on YouTube and look at more Mel Torme and his early television performances, and he's hands down one of the best singers that ever lived. But he's a multi-instrumentalist. I understood why the two Harrys were such big fans of him, because he was just a monster, a titan. You know
what, Pat? I would say Mel Torme wrote the best Christmas song of all time.
Oh, right. Chestnuts Roasting on Open Fire.
That's him. Yeah.
That is a great Christmas song. You are absolutely correct. So Ellen Foley is who I was referencing, and she not the original vocalist on Paradise by the Dashboard Light? I think she was.
Yeah,
right?
she was. She's not in the music video for it.
No,
that's Carla Bonoff, but
was it Carla Bonoff or Carla DeVito?
Carla DeVito is in the video for the Paradise by the Dashboard Light, but it was Ellen Foley that sang.
But there's a Bonoff. You're right. There's a Bonoff, Pat. I'm trying to think who she is that was also singing on the Meatloaf stuff.
Yeah, boy, how to confuse us.
Yeah. Hey,
there were three Harrys, just to confuse you even more.
I got to say a huge, huge thank you to Biznicio, who's dropped us $15 super chat on this particular live stream tonight. Thank you, sir, from the bottom of my heart. Very, very kind and generous of you. And I've got to say, the comment is an awesome one. Do any of you guys remember Brent? Bob Wheeler, right? Bob Wheeler was the character that he played along with these hillbillies that, oh my goodness.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Somebody you would have expected to see on the Andy Griffith Show.
Right.
The stories that just get spun, the tales that get spun as they're explaining their predicament to Judge Stone. They're just, oh my goodness. And it's fun because he was actually doing Star Trek at the same time when he was making some of these appearances on the show, I believe. And it's just so much fun to see him in a completely different role, but a very funny feller.
Oh yeah. Brent's an actor's actor for sure. I was always just amazed at his ability. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But thanks, Biznicio. That is truly appreciated. Very kind of you. So here, let me throw. Well, who do you think? So we've thrown Charlie out of the mix. He's not part of the survey. The second survey came out. I eliminated him. I put Dan in. So who do you think is coming in at the number 5 slot? Any guesses?
Roz?
God, they're all so good. Maybe Richard Mole.
Roz. You got her, Steve. Yeah. And you're right. The thing is that darn it all, they were all so good. It feels wrong to rank them out, but we're going to anyway, just for the exercise. Coming in at, believe it or not, the number 4 spot was, and so this second survey had 1,500 respondents. Roz had 6% of the vote as their favorite. Harry had 16% of the vote. Let's see. Christine got 17% of the vote. So Marky just barely edged Harry Anderson out of that spot. And then here's where it just gets nutty. I did this with the A-Team last week, and Dwight Murdoch was the number 1 favorite A-Team person. And it's going that route too, because Dan Fielding, who I would have guessed once I put him back in the survey, I was quite certain he was going to be the top choice, comes in with 27% of the vote. And Richard Mole, good old Richard Mole, 35% of the vote. Bull Shannon was the favorite character of 35% of the community members. So he definitely was. I think what happens is when you get forced to pick a favorite, you kind of go to the extremes a little bit, which is why Howling Mad Murdoch won last week and Richard Mole as Bull Shannon won this week.
He was lovable.
Yeah, he was.
He was a lovable character. So, you can't beat that. I mean, whereas Fielding, whereas Larroquette was the opposite of that. But he won the most Emmys. Matter of fact, he held the record for the most Emmy wins of anybody due to that show.
He did.
And had won so many, as I said.
I'm going to stop you, Pat. That's a trivia question.
Uh-oh. Not giving that one up.
I know exactly where you are going.
I didn't know it was going to be a trivia thing, so I'm going to watch it from now on.
Well, no, it's going to later on here. I've got it teed up, so we'll get to that in a bit. You share a little bit more. Hey, while look who has decided to pop in.
Hey,
our good friend Ian C. Great to have you here, Ian.
Thanks. Better late than never. Sorry about that.
Better late than never. Most folks know you, but at the end of the video, we'll give you an opportunity, or at the end of the live stream, we'll give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about your channel as well.
Sure. And so if I have to drop out early, I apologize. You know why, but I just wanted to stop in and say Night Court was one of my all-time favorite shows. So I'm here as long as I can be here, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. You are very welcome, Ian. So Bull was our top choice. 1,500 survey respondents picked Bull as the favorite Night Court character. And since he is the favorite, we'll let him kind of bring us on into the commercial section of the evening. So hang on one second here. Let's see if we can, hopefully everybody can hear this well. If not, turn up your volume a little bit. Here we go.
All right.
Let's party!
It's the premiere of Night Court,
At most, I was expecting charades.
where justice is always a toss-up.
One more flip. Heads, we thunder up the river. Tails, we take over.
And law and order stands for craziness in the courtroom.
Lala.
Night Court, Wednesday.
Have a seat.
A day in the life of a Commodore 64. The Commodore 64. Once you get it, you'll wonder how you got along without it.
Wow. So, hey, anybody else have a Commodore 64? What was your first computer?
28, right?
That's right. Well,
were you a millionaire?
No, we were not. Big argument in the Sundstrom home at that point in the advent of the computer era. Our dear sweet mother went out and bought us a Commodore 64. Dad got mad about the purchase. They took it back, and then he felt bad about getting mad, so they went back and bought a Commodore 128. Twice as good, apparently. But really, it was just a fancy Commodore 64. What was your earliest computers you guys remember?
I remember one from Radio Shack that actually used a cassette as the hard drive, a cassette tape.
Wow.
Yeah.
Audio cassette tape.
It was actually pretty.
That's what you call memory.
Yeah, that was actually a lot of the Commodore 64 did that as well. The Texas Instruments had a computer at the same time that did that. It was actually a fairly efficient mechanism, just slow in loading up a program, but it was a fairly efficient mechanism for loading up computer programs.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I remember our Texas Instrument. It wasn't a TI-80 or something like that?
TI-99 4A is what it was. We actually I bought a VIC-20, Steve, and then we bought the TI-90. I bought the TI-99 4A, and then I went off to hang out in Spain for a couple of years, and the whole Commodore 64, the Commodore 128 was here when I got back home.
Oh, okay.
Ian, did you have a computer at home when you were
Not
young?
when I was a kid, no. I mean, I got my first one when I was an adult, and it was like 90s, maybe like 96, 97, somewhere around there. I was kind of late to the game on it.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Our favorite computer, at least my favorite computer of that era, was I had the successor to the Commodore 128 or Commodore 64 was the Commodore Amiga, the Amiga 500, and I love.
Did you ever watch the 8-bit guy? Have you ever heard of him?
I watched the 8-bit guy all the time, and he's covered all of these videos or all of these computers.
Yeah, it's really, that's one of my favorite shows to watch. Actually, is to sit and just watch all these old computers that he refurbishes and stuff too. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, he's really a cool dude. I'd love to interview that feller. I'm sure he has a story or two to share. Hey, I wanted to say thank you to the folks that have dropped super chats and stickers over the past few weeks on the live streams. They include Tracy Roth Myers, David Zentara, Greg McLaughlin, Zend Wayne, John Collins, and I got Tracy on there twice because she's awesome. But they're all awesome. And I also wanted to say for those folks that have clicked the join button and become super fans, I wanted to say thank you to Spike Spikerson, Stephen Scott, Emily Miller, Retro Serial. Who's that feller? What's a Retro Serial? ENC. John Collins, James Mitchell, and Superplex. Truly appreciated. One of the things that I've been doing in my community section, no membership required for this, by the way, but once a week I typically post a link to a television movie that's out there on YouTube. And since I'm kind of focusing on 1984, all those commercials were from 1984. Night Court debuted in 1984. I wanted to this week introduce a really cool TV movie from 1984 by the name of Invitation to Hell. This movie starred Robert Urich, Joanna Casti, Susan Lucci, and Patricia McCormack. And here's what's awesome about this movie, besides the fact that it has Susan Lucci in it, who I love.
Wonderful.
Wonderful, wonderful performer. And she's a ton of fun in this movie in an over-the-top role. But this movie is an early movie by Wes Craven. After The Hills Have Eyes, of course, that classic, low-budget, independent horror flick. But before all of the other Wes Craven films that have made him the director, well-known, legendary director that he was, because he has passed on a few years ago. This was a television movie he made, and I've got a clip that I'm going to share with everybody here. But first, before we do that, I want to say thank you to someone has jumped on that join button. Bees Nietzsche, thank you so much for becoming a member of my community, the Good Stuff community. Truly appreciated. If you end up watching a video and it doesn't feel quite done, because I'm giving you sneak preview access, just know that you're seeing sometimes rougher versions, and you can feel free to give me some feedback if you want on it. But thank you very much. Truly appreciate it. So with that said, let me go ahead and move over to the video section. And let's just show you. I want to show you a clip. This is a crazy, crazy clip from Invitation to Hell. That is literally the opening scene to Invitation to Hell. And I love how after she gets ran over, the poor guy turns, he's worried about her. She does whatever she does with her finger, but then she has the gall to go over and look inside the window to make sure that her work was done. It's just a classic scene. Love it. Definitely over the top. The whole movie's that way. This movie has, in addition to Patricia McCormack in a supporting role, Soleil, I hope I say this right, Soleil Moon Frye, little Punky Brewster as one of the children in this movie. And at some point in the movie, hopefully it's not too much of a spoiler, she becomes possessed. And the scene where she's talking to her father as a possessed demon is worth the price of admission just in and of itself. Great stuff. Never too scary. Kind of more funny than
might one find that movie, Dave?
Well, you can find it everywhere. It's on YouTube. That's where I watched it. But I happened to notice after I had watched it on YouTube that it's available on Tubi. It's available on Amazon Prime. So there's lots of places to watch this early work by Wes Craven. Came out on TV in 1984.
I like the red power suit, too, that girl's wearing.
Oh, yeah, with the shoulder pads. And
yeah, that was
girl?
A big thing.
Did he say that girl?
He did say that girl. We're going to forgive him.
Susan Lucci. And I can tell you from personal experience, she's the opposite of that character. Probably
Okay,
one
all
of
right.
the most angelic women I've ever met. Oh my God, she's so beautiful.
All apologies. All apologies.
We're here to educate you, Ian.
I need it. Apparently, I need it.
Yeah, all my children, right?
Oh yeah, and she's just
And
She-
100 Lifetime movies.
yes. And oh man, I have a great story. When I was playing with the soap opera band, we'd do Super Soap weekends at Disney World, and all the stars would come up on the stage, and then we would play. And I got up there getting ready to come out and play, and Goofy kicked my guitar cord out of my amp. Nothing came out. And I'm playing in front of thousands of people, and nothing is coming out. And I look back, and there's my cord on the ground, and I see Susan Lucci come running up on the stage, grab my cord, and plug it in for me. And I just thought, that is the most amazing woman I have ever seen in my, just the grace and elegance of her plugging my guitar in for me. And nobody asked her to do that. It was just, that's the kind of woman she is. Had to get that in there. So anyway, moving on.
That's awesome. Hey, Emily Miller's asking, didn't she win? Oh, I clicked on the wrong one. There we go. Here we go. Didn't she finally win an Emmy like 10 years ago? She did. There was a huge drought of like 15 years or so, but she did finally win that Emmy, right?
Yeah, nominated. It just got to the point where it was a gag almost. She really didn't need it. And I know she didn't really care about it. But once she did win, it was so well deserved, and that's a fact. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Happy ending to that story.
Yeah, we're all huge. Well, I'm a huge Susan Lucci fan just because of that story, just the grace in which she handled. Never watched her on the soap opera, but I was aware of the grace in which she handled defeat year after year. And, you know, in addition to what you're telling me now, Pat, I mean, this is just a down-to-earth, wonderful lady.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Wonderful person.
Even if she did play a very, very evil person in Invitation to Hell. Again,
I'm
folks,
watch it. Had a lot of fun doing it, though.
Well, we don't know if that guy might have deserved it, right?
Well, clearly he did. He ran her over. But, you know, yeah. That's all you know about that character. That's it. There's no backstory. It's merely set up for that scene. But lots of fun. Hey, I see folks... Lee Banning saying hi. Hey, Lee, how's it going? I'm trying to see if there's other folks that are right. I'm sure there are a lot of folks. John McJunkin's here. Great to have you here. Carl Smith is here. I'm going to miss some folks, and I apologize if I do, but Pamela Scott, welcome. Good to have you here. John Collins, come on. I completely expressly forbid you from any more super chatting. He says, I know, but I have a question for Pat. Does the name of the band Montrose refer to the street in Chicago, and are you from Chicago?
No and no. The name Montrose is after the great guitarist and songwriter Ronnie Montrose. And he discovered Sammy Hagar, played with Van Morrison on all those classic tunes. And he was just an innovator of rock guitar, who I had the honor of playing with for about 4 years. And we're both from the Bay Area in California. So no, not from Chicago, even though I love Chicago. Nope.
So here's a question for you, and I'm not going to pay $5 into the super chat till for this, but did you get tired of playing Rock Candy?
No. As a matter of fact, he actually gave me the opportunity to sing it.
What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and I worked it out where I could sing Rock Candy and Rock the Nation at our shows. And that, boy, the whole house would come down, especially because I'd say, "You Rock Candy, baby." And I'd have the audience come back with, sweet and sticky. And I'd just get hundreds of thousands of people doing it. That was one of the highlights of my life. So, yeah, never got tired of that one, Dave.
Thanks. Thank you for the story, Pat. Thank you, John, for the super chat. Ian looks like he's getting ready to take off here, but I do want to give him a chance to tell everybody about his channel. Hey, Ian, just in case you have to drop off, do you want to talk a little bit about your channel?
Oh, for sure. I always like talking about me. You know, it's part of what makes me a YouTuber. No. retro serial. Yeah, just join or not join, subscribe, like, take one of your favorite. I got this little monster here. I got take one of your favorite videos that I do and share it on your favorite social media. It would mean the world to me. So.
That's it's the little things, the super chats and joining as a super fan. Those are all appreciated. They really are. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate it. But these guys, they just hitting that subscribe button, sharing the videos on whatever your favorite social media channel is. Those are the things that it's a click of the button, but oh my goodness, it does so much for us. We make these videos because we want people to see them. We want people to enjoy and relive, the golden age of television and movies and music. And the best way we can do that is to build this community. And we need your help. We need your help. Yes. Share these videos and make sure you're subscribing.
Please.
Yeah, and your latest video, at least the last one I watched, was actually it was the A-Team one that you did, and I loved watching it because there was a lot of references to our conversations we had last week. It was a really fun video, Ian.
Yeah, that one inspired me. The conversations we had inspired me to do one on the A-Team. I was kind of kicking around, what to do for one of my shorter videos. I hadn't done one in a little while. And so I just said, hey, A-Team, that's good. It's fresh on my mind. Just learned a whole lot about it. Just got humiliated. No, I'm just kidding. And because I could have swore I knew what they were in jail for, what they had a problem with, and I didn't know. So I made that the number one, and it was for robbing the Bank of Hanoi, and not for treason, as I had originally thought. So if anybody out there thinks that they're wrong, like me, but yeah, it was a fun video. And then I looked up some other stuff too, some obscure facts like, hey, we didn't know Howlin' Mad Murdoch's name ever through the whole series. Didn't know his name. So yeah, it was a fun video to do.
Yeah. Fun TV show and fun video. And I'm seeing a lot of nice comments about your channel there. John McJunkin says that he subscribed to your channel last month. Terrell says that he can't wait to watch more of your videos on the channel. So keep up the good work, Ian, and stay with us as long as you can, but recognizing that you've got stuff going on in your life right now too, and that I'm well aware of, that feel free to drop off anytime you need to as well.
Sure, thank you. I appreciate that. If I drop off again, it's needed. It's nothing bad or anything like that. It's just, I love Night Court, and there's not too much more I look forward to than these live streams, and being with the fans and being on your show really means a lot to me. So if I drop off, please understand.
Yeah, no problem. And you're turning into quite the live streamer yourself. I'm enjoying watching your live streams.
They're fun. They're really fun.
They are fun. They're addictive to do. And it's particularly when you get a community like this that's so engaged. And, even if we're not directly responding to the questions in the chat, it's fun to see everybody kind of responding and just talking amongst themselves as we have our conversation as well. So, I'll say it at the end, but I'll say it again. Thank you to all of the community members and all the folks in the chat tonight who are just making this live stream even more special by the level of engagement that goes on over there. All right. Are you guys ready for some trivia? Should we, any character before we move forward we talked about Bob Wheeler. We've talked a little bit about Dan Fielding. Any other moment in Night Court that anybody wants to bring up before we launch into a little bit of trivia?
Boy, too many moments to mention any one. I loved how they brought in classic TV stars.
Yeah,
that was some of the greats. And John Astin, I think, had a role on there for quite a while. And so, yeah, they spread the love, and just you never knew who was going to show up in that courtroom, and it was pretty
absolutely
fun.
Yeah, John Astin actually was supposed to be his father, Harry Anderson's father, and Yakov Smirnoff,
sure,
comedian, was on the show on a regular basis.
Yes.
He was hilarious. It just had a lot of good characters that would kind of rotate through.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a. Go ahead, Ian.
I just have to respond to Emily. Yes, Emily, it's because you're here. I'm here for sure.
There was not a classic TV actor, but definitely a well-known TV actor who made an impression on me is Terry Hatchers. I don't know if anybody remembers. I saw it in the comments. Someone mentioned it in the comments. Terry Hatcher made an appearance on the show as well. Yes. Where she's doing her best to completely unnerve Larroquette's character and, maybe have her way with him as well. And it's a really fun episode. And it really, not only is Hatcher great in that particular episode, but really gives John Larroquette an opportunity to shine as well. Just the whole comedic stuff. There's a point where he kicks in a window that's holding a fire hose because he needs to cool down a little bit. That is just one of my favorite scenes in there. He does like a karate kick to that window to get that fire hose out, and then he heads off to a supply closet to cool down a little bit. Very, very funny. All right, let's do some trivia. Ian, like I said, stay as long as you can. Question number 1. We'll start with a Night Court question. In Night Court, a picture of which famous actress hangs on Judge Stone's office wall? And don't answer anybody yet. We'll let folks in the chat answer a little bit and throw their best guesses out, whether it's Helen Hunt, Jane Mansfield, Jean Harlow, or Marilyn Monroe. And then it's instead of asking you all, because we're going to try to get through this a little quicker tonight than we normally do, I'm just going to ask if any one of you guys know the answer to this question, and we'll have you guys,
one of the last two, Jean Harlow or Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, I think it's Jean Harlow.
Yeah, okay. I'll concur with Steve.
Ian's nodding his head as well.
I'll go with that for sure.
Let's see what the correct answer is. Jean Harlow. Nice job, guys. Nice job.
It's a team effort. We're going to make it.
Yep. We will. We'll make it.
We get to pull together tonight rather than...
That's right. Well, I'm trying to remove the adversarial relationship that I've created with these trivia competitions. Question number 2. What is the name of the bird-like warrior that Buck Rogers encountered during season 2? And if you watch Rick and Morty, his name's Bird Guy or Birdman. I can't remember what they call him, but in the original incarnation, he had a name. It's either Eagle Eye Cherry, Hawk, the Falcon, or Robin.
It was Hawk.
Number 2.
Hawk, yep.
Hawk. Okay.
I think he was called Mr. Spock, too.
He was very much Tom Christopher was the actor, right? Tom Christopher, and he was very much. It felt like he was created to be, create that similar dynamic Kirk Spock dynamic with Buck Rogers and Hawk.
Yeah. Boy, we better be right.
You are correct. Nicely done, gentlemen. Nicely done. Okay, after the question number 3, I will see how the folks in the chat are doing tonight. Question 3 out of 10. And hold your answers, esteemed panelists, until we get through this. What type of car did Bo and Luke drive in the Dukes of Hazzard? Was it a Chevy Camaro, a Dodge Charger, a Ford Mustang, or a Porsche 911? Probably not the last one. Probably not the last one, okay?
That Porsche one makes me laugh. Obviously,
yeah.
Everybody knows it was the Charger, baby. It was the Charger.
Is it? I said Porsche. It's Porsche, right?
I've heard it pronounced both ways. Personally. Porsche.
Mustang.
I'm much more. Yeah, I can do a better job pronouncing those other 3 vehicles. All right, giving folks just a second or 2 more, and then, guys, which one is it?
Charger, I believe.
Charger. General Lee was a Charger.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. All right. So let's see how folks are doing. Al Oduardi is 2 of 3. Rob Bacon is 3 of 3. Nice job, Rob. John McJunkin is 3 of 3. Mr. Led is 3 of 3. Lance Chaffin, I'm going with Chaffin, is 3 of 3. Did we get that up there? The old stream is having a hard time. Carl Smith must have joined us late. He's 1 of 1. Tyrell is 2 of 3. Cindy D is 3 for 3. Let's see who else we have here. Lamont Bradford's 3 of 3. I'm going to forego putting them up on the screen because things are slowing down a little bit. Butch Schumpf is 2 of 3. Story Comic, 3 of 3. Hey, it's great to have Story Comic with us this evening. Another great YouTube site, folks. Barney's his name. Don't know his last name. I probably do if I go back and look at the emails. But Barney every week interviews some amazing folks and really there's some other videos if you dig deep on Barney's channel where he's like singing with his wife in the car. Classic stuff, good stuff. Really enjoyed those, and they're short. They're like Pat's appetizers, hors d'oeuvres, a couple minutes and you walk away and you feel just a little bit better because of it. Emily Miller's 2 of 3. Daryl Johnston's 3 of 3. Carl Smith's 2 of 1. I'm really getting confused, Carl, on your score. Greg McLaughlin is 3 of 3. TJ 921 Abel's 2 of 3. Georgia Ayers, welcome. Good to have you here, Georgia. 2 of 3. Tammy Patton, 3 of 3. Kenneth Wilkinson's 1 of 3. Tom McCluskey. Hungry Jerk, 3 of 3. Lee Banning's 2 of 3. And who else have we got here? Anyone else? Jimmy C. Marvel Man 1000 is 2 of 3. And Danny says it's too darn easy. He's got all 3 so far, too. Let's keep moving then. Let's see if they get any harder. Question 4. What is the name of Mrs. Garrett's sister who joined the Facts of Life during the final 2 seasons? Is it Beverly Ann Stickle, Emily Mahoney, Molly Parker, or Nancy Olson? Hold your answers for a second, fellers, while we let folks think through this. And while we're waiting, I'm going to say thank you to Greg McLaughlin, another super fan. Thank you so much, Greg. Really, really appreciated that membership. It really means a lot to me. I love the super chats, and I really do. I mean, how can you not love these kind of expressions of support for the channel? But that is just because it allows me to engage everybody at a higher level, those folks that do that. So thank you so much for joining. Now, back to the question at hand. What is the correct answer? Does anybody know?
Beverly
Ann Stickle.
We're teaming up on this, right, guys?
Yeah. Beverly Ann Stickle. You guys are going to end up being 10 of 10 with you working together. I have a good feeling about things. Who played Beverly Ann Stickle? Anybody remember?
Cloris Leachman. Was it Cloris Leachman?
Yeah, there's not getting anything by Ian tonight.
Sorry. I'm just blurting it out. I'm like on Jeopardy. Like, what is Cloris Leachman?
Answer in the form of a question from now on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Which actor asked that? Here it is, Pat. This is it. Which actor asked that they no longer be considered for an Emmy Award for their work on Night Court? Was it Harry Anderson, John LaRoquette, Marky Post, or Richard Mull? And we'll wait a second, but Pat, I'll let you go ahead and share the answer on this one since I very rudely cut you off earlier as you were starting to talk about this.
No, I felt like I ruined it. Actually, I'm sorry.
No, that the only person that ruins my trivia is Tracy Roth Myers, and she knows that all's forgiven on that. Tracy, I hope you know I'm joking and love having you on the live streams. But you were so apologetic when you did that a couple weeks ago. Tracy shared the answer to one of the trivia questions early, and I actually loved that the way it all played out. Pat, what's the correct answer?
It was John LaRoquette.
Yeah.
And he won 4 consecutive years in a row for best comedic performance. And as I was saying a little earlier, before I realized this was going to be a question, he held the record for the most wins consecutively, to the point where he was actually, of course, I wasn't there with him, and I don't know exactly what his motivation was, but it seemed out of modesty he wanted to be taken off the list because he was just cleaning up, and I think it got a little uncomfortable for him, which shows he was a very humble man in real life, and gotta love stories like that. You just do.
I do. You have been a wealth of stories like this tonight. First Susan Lucci, and now John Larroquette. That just really a classy move. When how many times can you win it before you feel badly and want to give others the chance to, even if say he didn't win it any other time, I think he recognized that he would be nominated and was taking up a spot that someone else could have, because many actors consider that nomination just to be a win in and of itself. So by removing his name completely, he allowed other people to be recognized for their work. And I thought it was a real classy move as well.
Yeah, it's used in bios as much as, Oscar nominee, Emmy nominee. The band that I was with actually won an Emmy. So we're actually able to say Emmy winners, which is, boy, it's very valuable to be able to say either you're a winner or nominated, or I've won so many times I don't even want to be in the running. Thank you. That kind of thing is that's stellar. And that was John Larroquette for sure.
Yeah. Great guy. I put bonus question, which will give you anybody a bonus point. If you've fallen behind, if you're not at 5 of 5, here is your chance to get a bonus point. Who is this star? I put 70s edition, but he's an 80s star. Was a 70s star as well. Who is this star? Now, this is where you're not going to lose points. You can still be 10 of 10. But this is where this might be tough. I'm gonna quickly scan the community to see if anybody can tell who it is.
Please.
Someone said Kurt Russell. Nope, it's not Kurt Russell.
Boy, that's tough.
Yeah. Story Comics said Dave Sundstrom, not Dave Sundstrom. Although, that head of hair there, I was going to say that looks like my head of hair that I had when I was a teenager. But no, that's a lie too. Steve, speaking of head of hair, I really like your haircut you got going on tonight.
Thanks. Yeah. Got it done today.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Is this a comedic actor, Dave? Or I know I'm asking for hints.
It is not well, here's the thing about this actor. He has been in, it's not Kurt Russell. Good guess, though, Lee. It's not Dave Sundstrom. Good guess, Barney. Let me see if there's other guesses on here. It's not Stephen King. It's not Ricky Schroeder. It's not JMJ Bullock. That's a good guess. This guy was a comedic actor first, but then moved into less comedic hour-long drama, a big-time hour-long drama in the late 70s through the 80s. Jeff Goldblum's another guest. Don Johnson's a great guest. Ed Begley, Harry Anderson.
JR?
You are
the
correct.
guy who plays JR?
Larry Hagman.
Oh, man.
Larry Hagman. Well done. You guys do get the bonus point. Ian got it. Nicely done.
Took me a second.
Yeah.
Do you know who Larry's mother was?
She was Peter Pan.
That's right. Mary Martin.
Yeah.
Mary Martin. Am I right, folks? Yeah.
Yeah, Mary Martin. I was drawing a blank on her name, but between the two of us, we got it. What famous actress made a guest appearance on General Hospital, Pat, when Luke and Laura got married? Yeah, we'll let one of the other two answer. Was it Debbie Reynolds, Doris Day, Elizabeth Taylor, or Kate Hepburn?
My guess would be Elizabeth Taylor.
Are you answering it or are you guessing it? You get, if you answer and it's wrong, then you've blown it for the entire three of you.
Ian, what do you think?
Oh, now you're gonna.
Look, I'm lost on this one. Yeah.
Do you guys want to phone a friend, or do you?
I think the friend we need to phone is Pat.
That's right.
Emmy award-winning Pat McCormick.
Hello?
Yes. Pat. Hey, I'm on Dave Sundstrom's show, and the question is, no, just go ahead. Sorry.
It's Elizabeth Taylor. And one of the classic outtakes is of Tony Geary, who played Luke on the Luke and Laura era, walking on set to do his line and just blowing his line. And going, "It's Elizabeth Taylor!" And it was just one of those moments where just amazing.
Yeah.
That she got.
Emily says it was a big deal at the time. It was huge deal to have Elizabeth Taylor on that show. She was a huge fan of the show. And so great to have her on it. And it was so much fun. That whole Luke and Laura phenomenon that was going on in the early 80s. It was just, that was the icing on the cake to have Elizabeth Taylor on there, as she was married to the bad guy. What was his name? Oh my goodness. I can't remember he was going to freeze the world. I forget the bad guy. He was the evil, mad scientist kind of bad guy on the show.
Hey, Dave, might I mention that around the same time, you permed your hair to look like Luke's.
That is true. And that's why I'm bald.
Oh, we got to see a picture of that, Dave. We have to.
He had the kind of frizzed out hair.
It's true. I had a couple girls tell me that I look like Anthony Geary.
I'm not bald under this hat, so
And I would continue to perm my hair for the next 4 or 5 years, that's not good. Cassadine, that's it. Miklos Cassadine, that's the name.
Yep.
Yeah, and Cindy D points out that there's that great song that they played by Christopher Cross throughout that whole time. They would play Think of Laura whenever Laura was on the screen. There was a point particularly where Laura disappeared for a while and Luke would be looking for her, and that Think of Laura music would come on. Great stuff. Hey, let's see scores. We've got 6 questions in with a bonus point. How are folks doing? You can't be 7 for 7. You can be 7 for 6, Cindy D. 7 for 6. That can be your score. Who else is in that camp? Throw your score in the chat. TJ921 Abel says, I need to put a wig on and show everybody. One of these days, maybe I'll try to track down a picture. Yes, there was a point where I had hair and a little less fat all over the face. Things were a little bit tighter back in the old days. Let's see what we got going on here. We got Story Comic, who's 5 of 6. Greg McLaughlin's 5 of 6. Daryl Johnston is 6 of 6. Mr. Led 6 of 7. Carl Smith is 4 of 2. John Collins is 4 of 6. Georgia Ayers is 5 of 7. Tom McCloskey is 6 of 6. Cindy D says, oh, darn. 6 for 6 then, Dave? Well, you could be 7 for 6 if you got the bonus point correct. John McJunkin is 6 for 7 or 6. I'm getting confused now, too. Let's just keep moving on. Oh, Lee Banning wants to know, Stephen, if you and I are twins.
No, we're not. 7 years between Lee.
So the next question is, who's older?
Oh, ouch. Or not ouch.
Yeah, I'm older. I'm 7 years older than Stephen and than Steve. And I don't often get mistaken for being a young person. As a matter of fact, there was a point a few years back where I went to pick up, when my youngest son was in kindergarten, I went to pick him up from kindergarten, and the teacher said, Evan, that's my youngest son, Evan, your grandpa's here to get you. Oh, can you believe that? Oh my gosh, I know. Hurtful. I'd share her name. I will. I was going to say I'm a classier guy, but Mrs. Robinson, that was really rude of you to do. Okay. Let's keep moving. Which of these best describes the sitcom Family Ties? Ian, you can't answer this one. You'll be the lifeline. You'll be the lifeline they call if they need it. Hip parents, square kids. Hip family, square town. Square parents, hip kids. Square town, hip family. Which of these best describes the sitcom Family Ties? Stephen or Pat, if either of you know the answer, feel free to share it.
It's number one.
Yeah, it's number one. Although I wouldn't say that all the kids were square.
Yeah, I think you're leaning more towards Michael J. Fox as the square,
Right.
but it's really they were just more politically different than.
That's why it says best describes. It doesn't say perfectly describes.
Oh, there you go.
Best describes of the four choices. That is the best description of it.
Right.
Well done. Well done. Let's keep moving. Question 8 out of 10. What is Bull's middle name on Night Court? Is it Aristotle, Da Vinci, Nostradamus, or Plato?
I think I actually know this one.
Answer, let's let folks kind of answer the question in the chat for a second. And Steve, I got to tell you, watching your video, I'm disappointed that Richard Mole doesn't want anything to do with the reboot.
I know, I was disappointed too.
Maybe someone can talk some sense into him.
Well,
did you guys already talk about the reboot or no?
A little bit in that Steve did a video on the reboot.
I watched that today.
Yeah. Thoughts, Ian?
Oh, I am looking forward to it. I like the lead character, who played Bernadette on Big Bang Theory. I adore her.
She's great.
And I am looking forward to it. It's one of those things, I mean, everybody's got their own personal taste, but you're just kind of holding on, like this could be great or this could be awful, and I'm leaning toward it could be great. They'd have to really kind of mess it up for it to be awful. Of course, it's not outside the realm of possibilities. You think of things that they couldn't possibly mess that up, and they do. But I think it's gonna. I think it's gonna be really good.
Yeah, I was reading the comments, Steve, and the only way that I think they could mess it up. And granted, Dan Fielding is older. He's probably mellower. But if he's completely PC and they've neutered the man,
that comment did come up. Yes, that concern was raised in your comment section, and that would be a real travesty. Despite the fact that Dan Fielding will be an older character, that some of the acerbic abrasiveness, but still kind of finding a way to be lovable, it's got to still be able to come through.
Maybe he's dirty old Dan. He's a dirty old man or dirty old.
He better still be a bit of a dirty old man. He better be. The correct answer. Anyone want to give a guess on this one?
Aristotle. Oh, is it Nostradamus?
Where are you guys going with this?
Well, Steven just did a video, so I mean, I'm going to go with what he said. I think Aristotle's in his name or something. But if you say it's Nostradamus,
you be the tiebreaker here.
We got to go with you, Steven. I mean, you just did the video on it. It was uploaded today. Okay.
Perfect. I was going to say that too.
I hope that Ian, sometimes you got to go with your gut, and then sometimes you got to listen to other people. So good work. Nostradamus it's Aristotle Nostradamus. Shannon. So they're both right. Just the middle name is Nostradamus. All right. Question 9 out of 10. When we get to the end, I'll get everybody's scores. We're just going to kind of work through this since the live stream has ran a bit longer than anticipated. In Airwolf, what famous actor co-starred as flight engineer Dominic Santini? Right there alongside the great Jan Michael Vincent. Rest his soul. Let's see. I'm going to just look in the comment section to see. Emily, did you meet anyone? And Lance Chaffin is asking Emily if she's met anyone famous. And Emily says no, that she is not aware of meeting anyone famous. But Georgia Ayers has met William Shatner. That would be huge. I would enjoy meeting William Shatner. I would be worried that he might brush me off, because I've heard stories. But
she met Shatner, or that's their guess on the question?
Oh, wait, that's the guess on the question. Never mind. She didn't.
We're about to open up a whole nother subject.
Yeah. But you were shaking your head about Shatner. Are you telling me that he's more approachable than that?
Well, I think it's I think it's about timing. But the 2 times that I talked to him, he was very nice.
That's awesome.
So I was very happy about that too, because if he wasn't, I would have been shattered.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would have been Shatner shattered. Oh.
Yeah. So I'm curious, what kind of occasion would you run into a William Shatner, Pat?
Well, it was Comic-Con.
Comic-Con. Oh, okay. At the tables. Yeah.
Yeah. Silicon Valley Comic-Con specifically. And, I paid for a photo op, and it was, don't think I wasn't going to say something to him. And it was one of those where it was like he had no problems stopping and conversing with me, very shortly. Something about how beautiful he thought my wife was. I had the same problem with Adam West. Honestly. Guys, you know why they do these Comic-Cons. It isn't anyway.
That is awesome. Well, that's just a great compliment to your wife.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. So correct answer was, fellers?
Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah, Borgnine.
Yeah, absolutely. Last question of the evening. Which of these shows did not make its debut during the 90s? Was it Airwolf, Dukes of Hazzard, Knight Rider, or Night Court?
You mean the 80s?
Yeah, did I say 90s? 80s, yes. Which of these shows did not make its debut during the 80s? Airwolf, Dukes of Hazzard, Knight Rider, or Night Court?
Well, I know this one. Hands down, I know this one.
Okay, good.
But I'll wait.
Wait for just a minute here. Someone said they were at that same convention. Oh, Hungry Jerk, Tom McCluskey was at that same convention and visited with Chad. You guys could have been in line together, Pat.
It was a big line, so that's possible.
That is entirely possible. And John McJunkin points out that Shatner was hilarious on SNL when he did that whole sketch with the Trekkies. Yeah.
Oh, he's one of the funniest speakers there is. I mean, he is hilarious and can be spontaneous, off the cuff. Oh my God. Yeah, definitely worth it. Every time you get an opportunity to see him speak, you will be laughing. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, the consummate performer, right?
Yeah.
Always on. All right, Ian, you want to give the answer?
Dukes of Hazzard. I got to stay up and watch it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That's how I know. And I was just it was a big deal. Friday night, I got to stay up for a whole extra hour to watch Dukes of Hazzard. So definitely that was in the 70s, and the rest of them came out in the 80s.
Yeah, so it was late 70s. I can't remember if it was 79 or 78, but late 70s, the Dukes made its debut. And boy, did I enjoy Friday nights as well. You had an Incredible Hulk and Dukes of Hazzard. I wouldn't hang on for Dallas, but I sure did enjoy those other two shows as a young teenager. In my case, I was a little bit older than you guys. All right, let's see final scores as we peruse and we look at a great picture of Christine Sullivan from the Night Court days. Let's get some scores here. Al Oduardi was 80%, not bad. Greg McLaughlin was 9 out of 10. Let's see who else we have. Dave Neesner was 7 out of 10. Georgia Ayers was 6 out of 10. Oops. Let's see. Lee Banning was 5 of 10. Matt Sweeney was 8 of 10. Emily Miller, 10 of 10. Good job, Emily. Kenneth Wilkinson was 4 of 10. Tyrell was 9 of 10. Always expecting Tyrell to be up there near the top. Lee Banning points out that John Schneider has his own YouTube channel. Yes, he's a very prolific poster on that channel. John Collins was 8 out of 10. And he says, I thought all the questions are going to be Night Court related. My apologies. trust me, John, on the trivia channel, there will be a video that will drop in the next day or two with all Night Court related questions. I'll be interested to see how you do. The other John McJunkin got 8 out of 10. Lamont, if I didn't say your score, you got 8 of 10. Tom McCluskey was 9 of 10. Cindy D was 8 for 10. Daryl Johnson was 9 of 10. Lisa Fields was 9 of 10. Let's see. Danny got them all except for the Larry picture. So you were perfect. That was a bonus question. So you did it. You got 10 of 10. Nice job. Dolph Quick says, what? I got them all right. Hot diggity dang. I changed that at the end there too. But hot diggity dang, he got them all right tonight. Ed Myers was a 5 of 10. Spike Spikerson only got 1 right, but something tells me he might have just been enjoying the conversation. And Lance Chaffin, 9 of 10. Cindy Roy says, great job, guys. And I would echo that comment. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Ian, it's been great that you've been able to have you stick around with us.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
And yes. I will give everybody an opportunity to just maybe spend 30 seconds talking about your channel before we go. And then I'll remind everybody that the links to all of these channels will be found in the description field of this live stream. So if you go back and watch the live stream later on, you'll find these links to go to all of these channels, and definitely click and subscribe. Steve, you can go first. You're right below me. Go ahead. We'll work our way down.
Yeah, my channel's just Stephen Sundstrom. I talk about movies, TV shows, music from the kind of the 80s and 90s. Generally is more where I talk about. Occasionally go down into the 70s. But yeah, just my name, Stephen Sundstrom.
Great. And latest video was on Night Court. What was the one before that? Fonzie, right?
Yeah, Fonzie.
All right. Pat, you're up next.
Oh, well, I'm Pat McCormick. The channel is Golden Rage of TV. My series is Retro TV Trivia. I'm on my 3rd season, so I'm well underway. We've got plenty more to go and plenty more to do. And there's just a never-ending well of information to dive into with this stuff. And it's all interesting and it's all fun. And thanks to my inspirational buddies here, I'm going to keep going. And yeah, that's where you can find me. I need subscribers too. Did I say that? Yeah, I better say that.
Here's the deal. Pat is very, very close to 1,000 subscribers, which is kind of a milestone when it comes to your work and being a creator here on YouTube. I'm going to make a prediction that Pat will be to 1,000 by the time I'm going to be bold and say within the next 2 months, Pat is going to be over the 2,000 or the 1,000 subscriber mark. So good things happen to good people and great YouTube creators, and Pat is definitely one of them. Ian, you're up.
Yeah, retro serial. I do 3 kinds of videos now. I do longer form interview videos, which I've had all these gentlemen on talking about 80s, 90s, and 70s, growing up, Generation X. And then I do kind of shorter videos, which are more YouTube related. And the longer form you can also find on any podcast form. So if you're out there and you're driving around, you want to listen to podcasts, and you want to listen to something about growing up, Generation X, retro serial on there. And then the newest ones I'm doing, the 3rd kind of videos that I'm doing, are live streaming. And we're live streaming pretty much every week. Going to be doing one on music next week. And just kind of, it's a lot of fun. I kind of have a rough outline of where I'm going, but I let people kind of guide the conversation. I do a lot of Q&A. And so these gentlemen are all going to be on at some point too, if I can snag them. And I'm going to be doing one really soon, which I'm going to need some help with, and that is lessons I learned from watching TV. And I'm just going to let people call in, or not call in, but type in and ask, questions and share their stories about lessons they learned from watching TV, because I know I learned a lot of lessons growing up watching TV. So thanks, Dave. Thanks, everyone. Good to see you. Got to get going. Take care.
Thanks.
Take care, Ian.
Thanks, Ian. All right. And one final thank you, and that's to everybody that was part of this conversation tonight. Steve and Pat, great to have you here. And to everybody, I mean, we had so many people on the live stream tonight, and just the conversation that's there. Here's what I get to do now. I love going back and I rewatch the live stream, but I don't really watch the screen. What I'm doing is I'm listening to kind of our conversation, but I'm reading the chat and following along. And it's one of my favorite things to do after we're done, because the conversation, I'm not able to keep track of the conversation the way I would like to if I were not an active participant in the live stream. So this will be my opportunity to go back and read what you all had to say and just kind of see the camaraderie. That's the thing I love the most. And of course, the replay will be available for everybody to watch after the fact. If you want to join me and watch it again, feel free to do so. But more than anything else, thank you to everyone. And just have a great week. Look forward to visiting with you again in the not too distant future. Have a good night, guys.